This comprehensive tutorial video covers Excel Basic in 4 main chapters. The first chapter, Raw Data, involves data entry, Top Formula Part 1, Formatting and Table. Second chapter, Validation, involves Filter, Sort and Find, Top Formula Part 2, Go to Special, as well as Common Errors Handling. In third chapter, Analysis, we will learn Conditional Formatting, Top Formula Part 3, Chart Basic and Pivot Table Part 1. And the fourth chapter is Report, where we will learn Pivot Table Part 2, Top Formula Part 4, and how to create report on a simple template. Before delving into the main chapters, let me introduce you to Excel. For those who are new to Excel, accessing the program is simple. Click on the Windows logo located on the taskbar or on the keyboard, and then locate the Excel icon, which is typically available in the Pin section by default. If the Excel icon is not visible, click on All Apps, search for Excel, right-click the mouse, and select Pin to start. This action ensures that the Excel icon remains in the Pin section for future access. Once located, click on the Excel icon to launch the program. From here, you can click on Blank Workbook to initiate the creation of a new Excel file, which will open automatically. By default, this new file will be named Book 1 and is classified as a workbook. Workbooks are where data or reports are created using Excel. In the next chapter, I will explain how to change the default name of this workbook to suit your preferences. For now, let's review the components included in this workbook. Let's start at the top. The color of the bar can be customized to personal preference. On the left side, there's the Excel logo, followed by 5 icons called Quick Access Toolbars that begin with Autosave. By clicking the On/Off button, you can enable or disable the Autosave feature. And then, there's a Save icon that allows you to manually save data. To the right of these icons are the Undo and Redo options. In the next chapter, I'll explain these in further detail. Next, there's an arrow icon that enables you to choose which command icons should appear in the Quick Access section. Simply select the desired commands. The workbook name is displayed adjacent to this. Moving to the right, there's the search bar, which you can use to search through the workbook. After that, there's the user account. Lastly, there are buttons to minimize the workbook screen, adjust the display of the workbook window, and close the workbook. The section beneath the green bar is known as the ribbon, which stores 9 tabs containing collections of various command buttons for operating Excel. Upon opening Excel, the Home tab will open by default, as it is now. Within the Home tab, you'll find a clipboard group which contains copy and paste commands. There are also font groups, alignment group, and several other groups. Please notice that by clicking the small arrow next to a group name, additional command buttons that are not visible on the ribbon will appear. Apart from the Home tab, there are 8 other tabs that contain as well a variety of command buttons. Over the course of this tutorial, you will become familiar with most of these tabs and their command buttons. Now, let's navigate to the File tab. Here, you'll find several other tabs, such as New, for creating a new workbook, and Save, for saving your work. There's also options for adjusting Excel settings, such as General for several setting options like fonts, and Colors setting. There are also options for formula setting, ribbons, and Quick Access Toolbar. As you continue through the tutorial, you will gain a better understanding of most of these features. In the top right corner of the ribbon, there are comments and share boxes that we will cover in our upcoming video tutorial. At the bottom right of the ribbon, there is a downward arrow that allows us to adjust the ribbon's appearance. We can choose to go full screen, to display only tabs, or to display the ribbon and all toolbars. There is also an option to display or hide the Quick Access toolbar. Beneath the ribbon is a white bar called the Formula bar, which displays the contents of the selected cell. Like this as an example. By clicking the downward arrow, we can expand the display of the Formula bar. Moving to the left, we find the feature for inserting formulas, followed by a box containing the name of the selected cell. The 3 dots are to widen the view of the box. The main part of Workbook is Worksheet, also known as a sheet, is where we will be working with data and formulas. Depending on our requirements, a workbook can contain a single or multiple sheets. The sheet name is located at the bottom and is assigned by Excel by default. By right-clicking on the section, we can access a menu of options to create new sheet, to delete, or to rename a sheet as necessary. We can move or copy a sheet. Additionally, there are options to display code and sheet protection, change the color of tab sheet, hide a sheet, and select the entire sheet. The quick way to insert a new sheet is by clicking on the plus sign. The sheet selection can be moved using the right and left arrows and 3 dots next to the Sheet tab. And we can jump from one sheet to another by right-clicking on this arrow area and selecting the desired sheet. A sheet consists of numerous cells where data such as numbers can be entered. If the data is in multiple cells, this collection of cells is referred to as a data range or range. A cell represents the intersection between a column and a row. Each sheet has columns from A to column XFD and more than 1 million rows. Cells are named with a combination of column and row names, such as A1 or B1, which can be seen in the name box. To select a cell, we have 2 options. Click the left or right arrow. Or we can use the mouse to move from one cell to another. To select a range, we can hold down the Shift key and click the right or left and up or down arrow. In case we have a large amount of data that spans across multiple screens, we can use the scroll wheel of mouse to scroll the screen. The row scroller is located on the right side of the sheet, while the column scroller is at the bottom. Adjacent to the column scroller, 3 dots can be used to lengthen or shorten the scroller width. The status bar, located on the bottom left side of the screen, provides information about the status of our work on the sheet. On the right side, there are sheet display options, including normal, page layout, and page break preview. Additionally, there is a screen size adjustment slider. With continuous usage, you can become more familiar and adept with all the features mentioned above. Excellent! We are moving to the first main chapter, raw data. There are 3 primary data types that can be entered into a cell: text, date and time, and number and percentage. Here are examples of text. A general text. Text is combined with dates. And combination with numbers. And to input a number in text format, add an apostrophe before it. Similarly, to type a date as text, add an apostrophe before it. By default, the text format is displayed from left to right, as you can see. In below example, I will show you how to convert a number to a text. First, right-click the mouse and select Format Cells in the dialog box. In the Format Cells box, choose the Number tab and in the Category section select Text. And press Enter to convert the number to text. I shall now explain how to write date and time. There are 6 formats that I am going to show you. The first format is where the date precedes the month, and it appears as DD/MM/YY. In this format, DD represents the date, MM represents the month, and YY symbolizes the year. For instance, the date February 9th, 2024 is written as 9/2. This format is commonly used, particularly in Indonesia. The second format displays the month first, followed by the date. It appears as MM/DD/YY. For example, even though the date comes first, the month is still displayed first. The third format is D, space, triple M, space, quadruple Y. For example, the fourth format is long form of the date, dd, space, quadruple M, space, quadruple Y. For example, the next format includes days as well, and it appears as quadruple D, comma, dd, space, quadruple M, space, quadruple Y. For example, for writing time, the format is 00:00:00 00:00 as hours, minutes, seconds. For example, please notice that the date and time display format is usually from right to left by default. Similar to text, the display format of date and time, number, and percentage can be customized using the Format Cells box. There are multiple ways to access this option. The first method involves right-clicking on a cell and selecting Format Cells from the dialog box, followed by navigating to the Number tab. The second way is to click on the Format option through this small window and explore various available options and click on More Number Formats for more options. The third way is to select the Format command buttons located on the ribbon toolbar. The fourth method involves clicking the small arrow located in the number group on the ribbon. Finally, we can also click on the Format box in the Cells group and then select Format Cells from the dialog box. And here's an example of how to modify date format in Excel. Begin by right-clicking on the cell you want to format. Then, select Format Cells. In the Format Cells dialog box, click on the Number tab. The Category section provides a range of options from General to Custom. In this example, we will set the date format. Select Date, and a sample of the format appears to the right. The format displayed beneath the sample represents the original format of the cell. Below the sample, there's a type box displaying various available options. Choose the format that fits your preference, and the date format will change accordingly. The format options available in this box depend on the location, settings in this section. By default, Excel displays the location you have set in your Windows settings. However, you can select for a different location. For example, if you choose English, United States, the format options in this box will change. After selecting the format you want, press Enter and the date format in that cell will update accordingly. We are moving to the next data type. There are 6 formats for representing number and percentage. The first is the general number format. For example, the second format uses a thousand separator. For example, the third format includes decimal points. For example, the fourth format represents percentages. For example, the fifth format includes currency symbols. For example, finally, the sixth format is the accounting format. For example, the process of modifying the number and percentage format can be done through the Format Cell box. By selecting the Number tab and choosing the Number option, we can add a thousand separator or establish a decimal point. This allows us to specify the number of digits to display after the decimal point. And we can choose to use or not use a thousand separator. Lastly, in this negative numbers box, we can customize how negative numbers are presented. In this example, I have utilized the thousand separator symbol with a dot and decimal with a comma, following my previously set Windows settings. However, in some countries, the convention is the opposite, using commas for thousands and dots for decimals. We can modify these settings in Excel by accessing the Options menu through the File tab, selecting Advanced Options, and choosing the Use System Separators option to adhere to the initial Windows settings. Alternatively, if we do not select this option, we have the flexibility to modify the thousands and decimal separator symbols. To format decimal numbers, we can also click on the comma symbol available on the toolbar. To increase or decrease the decimal places, you can use the buttons next to it. For percentages, simply click on the % symbol. Accounting formatting can be set by clicking this command button and select the appropriate format. Okay, that's all about data types. Moving forward, let's explore various data entry methods. There are 7 methods to performing data entry, starting from the typing to utilizing formulas. Let's begin with the first method, typing. Using this method, we can simply type the required data. For instance, to create a sales data, we first create titles in 3 columns. Okay, then we can begin typing the data. For example, in the event of incorrect data entry, it's possible to make edits by selecting the cell in question and pressing F2 to modify its contents. To undo previous work, simply press Undo button. Conversely, to restore any previously undone work, press Redo button. Okay, let's continue with data typing. Done. As for date, we can modify its format as we have learned previously. And we can also change the decimal format to 1 digit after the comma for numeric entries. Okay, now let's proceed to the second method, copy and paste method. To do this, we need to select pre-existing data. For instance, let's copy data from the previous worksheet. After selecting the data, we can press the copy button. Next, we need to choose the cell where we want to paste the data and press enter. This will successfully copy the data into the selected cell. To copy the same data in multiple cells, select the cell of the data to be copied, then select the target cell. Then click the paste button as many as needed. Please notice a small arrow button on the paste command. By clicking the button, we can see several paste options, including pasting data along with formatting and formula, pasting only the formula, pasting only the values, or even pasting as an image. And we can also click Paste Special for more options. Select desired paste option and click OK or press Enter. Finally, we can move data from one cell to another. Select the data and click the Cut button. Then select the destination cell and press Enter. This transfers the data to the new cell. Okay, that's all the basics of copy and paste. Now let's move on to learning about Flash Fill. Flash Fill is a powerful tool that allows for the automatic population of data based on user-defined patterns. This feature saves considerable time when filling out a worksheet. For instance, we can use Flash Fill to separate the city name from the country name. To do this, we first create a pattern in this column. Next, in the second row, we type first letter of Berlin and press Enter. As a result, all city names are separated in this column. Let me give you one more example. Apart from the first way, there are 4 other ways to use Flash Fill. We can access it through the Fill button on the Home tab, click Flash Fill, or via the Flash Fill button located in the Data tab. Or we can drag the cell down and click the small box on the right, then click Flash Fill. We can also use the shortcut Ctrl+E to initiate Flash Fill. With Flash Fill, we can not only separate data, but also add words after the city name. And we can also combine columns. Okay, that concludes our learning of Flash Fill. Let's move on to the fourth data entry method, Custom List. A custom list is a self-created list of data that facilitates the typing of data, saving time and minimizing errors. An example of a custom list is a list of city names or days and months. To create custom list, click on the File tab, select Options, then Advanced, and scroll down to the General section. Here you will find an option to edit custom lists. Click on this button. A dialog box will appear. Select New List on the left and then type a list of data in the right box. Under the New List text, you will find the days and months names, which Excel provides by default. At the bottom, you will find an Import Data section to create a new list without typing. For instance, to create a new list of city names by importing them, press the arrow, select the City Names list, and then click Import. The city name list is now ready for use alongside the custom lists of days and months. Here's how to utilize a custom list. Let's say we need to create a list of cities in column A. Instead of typing them individually, we can write Jakarta, Indonesia in the first cell. Then drag the cell down starting from the first cell. And the list is automatically generated. The same method can be applied when creating a list of days or creating a list of months. That concludes the topic of custom list. We will now move on to data validation. Data validation is a valuable tool to limit data entry into cells based on specific criteria, which can prevent input errors and expedite the data input process. For instance, when completing the salesman data with their corresponding cities in column V, manually typing each city name is time-consuming and prone to errors. This is where data validation comes in handy. To utilize this tool, we first create a list of city names outside the input data range, say in column G. We copy the list from previous list. Once the list is there, we then block the cells in the column we want to fill. Next, we navigate to the Data tab and select the Data Validation option. In the dialog box, we choose the list option for the criteria and select the list in column G as the source. Click OK. All the cells that we blocked earlier turn into a drop-down list. To fill in the cell, click the arrow next to the cell, then select the desired city from the drop-down options. This feature simplifies the data entry process and minimizes errors. If we attempt to type a city name not included in the list, an error will occur. Thus, data validation is an effective tool that streamlines data entry while preventing errors. Okay, next we will explore another data entry method. Form. One alternative method of data entry is through the use of a form. Forms can be particularly helpful when you need to input data with many columns, say more than 10. In the following tutorial, we will use a simple dataset to help you understand the basics of using a form. However, in reality, it is common to have data with many columns. Before starting, we need to display the Form button first, since Excel does not display form buttons in the ribbon or Quick Access toolbar by default. To do this, click on the Customize Quick Access Toolbar button on the Quick Access toolbar, which is represented by a small arrow. Then select More Commands, and in the selection box, click on the down arrow that located under the text Choose Commands From, and choose Commands Not in the ribbon. Scroll down to find the form, and select it. Click the Add button next to the search box, press OK, and the Form button will now be available on the Quick Access toolbar. To use the form, select one of the cells from the available data. Once selected, click on the Form button and the form will appear on the screen. The left-hand side of the form displays the column headers, while the adjacent white box is where the data is inputted. To navigate between the white boxes, press the Tab key. The scroll bar located next to the white box is especially helpful if there are multiple columns to fill in. The form displays one of 3 on the right-hand side to indicate the first cell row of 3 that has already been filled in. Underneath, there is a row of buttons. Click on New to create a new entry, Delete to remove data that has already been entered, and Restore to revert an entry to its previous version. The Find Previous and Find Next buttons are useful for searching for data from previous or subsequent cells. Criteria can be applied to search for specific data based on particular criteria. Finally, Close button is to exit the form. To input the data, click on New, and then proceed to fill in the required information in each respective white box. If the last white box already filled in, press Enter to update the data. So, as you can see, the data already updated completely. You can continue to fill in new data, or you can exit the form by pressing the Close button. Occasionally, there may be instances where the form cannot be displayed. For instance, when we attempt to generate a form using this example data, we may encounter a warning message. In such cases, we can click the OK button to proceed, and the form will appear. Okay, this concludes our learning on form. Now, let's move on to the final method of data entry, which involves formula. Formula is one of important method for creating data through data entry process. It's worth noting that while formulas are often referred to as functions, vice versa, these two terms have distinct definitions. A formula is a mathematical expression, whereas a function is a preset formula built by Excel to simplify its usage for end users. There are 4 methods to access the formulas in Microsoft Excel. First, you can type the formula directly into the cell if you have memorized it. The second method is by using the Insert Functions button. Third, you can access the formula by navigating to the Formula tab, which groups various formulas based on their respective functions. And you can use the Sum button to access the formula. In this subchapter, we will first focus on learning how to use basic mathematical formulas. The basic math formula that we will learn are multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and sum function. I have assigned each formula a unique color for easy reference. To illustrate, I have prepared a simple data table, including product columns, product prices, and corresponding sales quantities and amounts for January and February, as well as the total quantity and sales for both months. While some cells have been completed, others with assigned colors remain unfinished. Our goal is to input basic math formulas into the designated colored cells, as indicated by their respective colors. Let's begin. First, we will calculate in the cell the number of sales for product A in January. The method is to multiply the price by the January quantity. We enter formula like this, equal sign, cell B10, times sign, cell C10, then enter. Then we calculate quantity February of product B by dividing February sales by price. We type equal sign, cell F11, division sign, cell B11, then enter. Okay, now we calculate the total quantity of product A by adding the January and February quantities. Type equal sign, cell C10, plus sign, cell D10, then enter. Next, for product B, subtract the total quantity of the 2 products from the total quantity of product A. We type equal sign, cell G12, minus sign, cell G10, then enter. And finally, we will use some function provided by Excel. Select cell H12 and press the Sum button. The sum amount appears. So, it's worth noting that, if Excel does not provide the sum function, we must type the name of cells to be summed up one by one, as we did earlier. That's why, as I said earlier, function is a preset formula that makes calculations become easier. Let's explore other formulas. In this first part of the top formula chapter, we will examine 15 Excel functions commonly used in constructing raw data. During the discussion of formula, we will primarily use the Insert function key. Begin by selecting the cell where the formula result will be stored. Next, click on the Insert function button, which will open the Insert function window. At the top of this window, type the name of the function. Click on the Go and OK button or press Enter twice. This action will open the function arguments window. Alternatively, in the Insert function window, you can locate the function name in the drop-down list within the category. The most frequently used functions will appear in the box below for quick access, while selecting All will display all functions in alphabetical order. Furthermore, selecting a particular formula group will reveal the functions within that group. Let's select Most Frequently Used and select Round. Press Enter. In the Function Arguments window, enter the required arguments into each white box. Use Tab key to move from the top white box to the bottom white box. After all the arguments are complete, the formula's result will appear here or in this part. You may verify the accuracy first before pressing Enter or clicking the OK button to complete the process. Okay, let's begin. Round is useful for rounding decimal numbers to a specified number of digits following the decimal point. In the number argument, select the number that requires rounding. In number digits argument, specify the number of digits to be rounded off, such as 1 or 0. Excel rounds decimal fractions greater than 0.4 to 1, while those less than 0.5 are rounded down to 0. Once everything is correct, click OK to complete the process. Sequence is used to create a sequence of numbers in rows and/or in columns. In the first example, we will create a sequence of numbers in rows. In rows, type number of lines to be created, such as 10. We leave the columns blank. In Start, we type the first number in the sequence, such as 1. Then in Step, type how much the numbers should increase in each line. For example, if we type 2, the number 3 will follow the number 1 in the second row, and so on. In this case, we type 1. Then the result is like this. Note that the sequence will consistently appear in the same order when rows are deleted. And in the second example, we will use rows and columns. In row, type 5. In column, type 5. In Start, type 100. In Step, type 50. Then the result is like this. Average is used to calculate the mean value of a set of numbers. In number 1, by default, Excel provides a range of cells containing the numbers you want to calculate. Or you can manually select the range of cells whose numbers you want to calculate. Enter. The result is like this. Count is used to count the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. In value 1, by default Excel provides the range of cells containing the numbers you want to calculate. Or you can manually select the range of cells whose numbers you want to calculate. Enter. The result is like this. COUNTIF is used to count cells within the range that meet specific criteria. In range, select the range of cells whose numbers you want to count. In criteria, define the specific criteria or condition to determine which cell to count. For example, we intend to count the number of cells containing the number 200. Then in this criteria box, we type 200. The result is like this. Max is used to return the highest value within the range. In number 1, by default Excel provides the range of cells containing the numbers for which you require the maximum value. Or you can manually select the range of cells. Enter. The result is like this. Min is used to return the lowest value within the range. In number 1, by default Excel provides the range of cells containing the numbers for which you require the minimum value. Or you can manually select the range of cells. Enter. The result is like this. IMonth is used to return the end date of the month before or after a given date. In Start Date, select the cell that contains the date or month. In Month, type the number of months before or after the start date. For example, if you type -2, the result will be December 31st. If you type 0, the result will be February 29th. And if you type 3, the result will be May 31st. Okay, finally press Enter. Workday is used to calculate the completion date of a job. It takes into account the start date, working days and holidays. By default, this function defines weekend holidays as 2 days. If you have different weekend holidays, you can use the Workday INTL function that will be demonstrated in the second example below. Let's continue. In start date, select the start date of the job. In days, select the number of working days required to complete the job. In holidays, select the number of holidays during which the work will take place, excluding weekend holidays. So as a result, the work is expected to be completed on February 23rd. Utilizing the Workday INTL function is similar to the Workday function. However, it requires us to specify the number of weekend holidays. In this example, we'll enter the formula directly to demonstrate how to determine weekend holidays. Firstly, let's select the start date and working day cell. Next, we'll need to select the weekend number from the given list. We'll choose option 11 since there are only Sunday weekend holidays. We'll then select the cell containing the holiday dates and close the bracket. The result displays February 21st, which is 2 days faster than the previous example because there is only one weekend holiday. Left is used to extract a specified number of characters from the beginning of a cell based on the provided arguments. The extracted characters may include spaces, punctuation, and delimiters. In the text, we select the cell containing desired characters. In number chars, we type number of characters will be extracted. Suppose we want to extract the first 3 characters. We type 3. The result will be like this. Mid is used to extract a number of characters in the middle of a cell by providing the function with the starting position of the character to be extracted as well as the length of the character. In the text, we select the cell containing desired characters. In start number, we type the starting position of the character to be extracted. For example, we want to extract the characters of Excelor, which the letter E is in the 5th position of the cell, then we type 5. In number chars, type the length of the character to be extracted. In this example, 8. Then the result will be like this. Right is used to extract a specified number of characters from the end of a cell based on the provided arguments. In the text, we select the cell containing desired characters. In number chars, we type number of characters will be extracted. Suppose we want to extract characters of channel. We type 7. The result will be like this. Text join is used to concatenate characters found in multiple cells and by using delimiter. In delimiter, we type opening quotation marks, a space, a delimiter such as asterisk, a space, and closing quotation mark. In ignore empty, leave it blank so that the function ignores empty columns should they exist. Then in text 1, select the cells containing characters to be concatenated. Then the result will be like this. VLOOKUP is used to search for a value in a range of data by using specific keyword. In this example, we are searching for the category of product A in this range. So the keyword is product A. In the lookup value, select the keyword. In the table array, select the range containing the keyword and the value we are searching for. The column where the keyword is located must be in the first position of the selected range. And we need to lock this range selection to prevent it from shifting when copied to another cell by using the $sign or by pressing F4. Then in call index number, type the column sequence number of the value we are searching for. In this instance, the category column is in the 3rd position of selected range. So we type 3. Then in range lookup, type false, which ensures that the function only searches for exact matches. The result will be like this. HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP share similarities, but there is a key difference. While VLOOKUP uses column sequence numbers to find the target value, HLOOKUP uses row sequence numbers to achieve the same result. In this example, we are searching for the product of warehouse B in this range. So the keyword is warehouse B. In the lookup value, select the keyword. In the table array, select the range containing the keyword and the value we are searching for. The row where the keyword is located must be in the first position of the selected range. And we need to lock this range selection to prevent it from shifting when copied to another cell by using the $sign or by pressing F4. Then in row index number, type the row sequence number of the value we are searching for. In this instance, the product row is in the third position of selected range. So we type 3. Then in range lookup, type false, which ensures that the function only searches for exact matches. The result will be like this. Now that we have completed our learning of Top Formula Part 1, it's time to move on to the basics of formatting, which we will explore through these 5 topics. Let's begin. Let's use this sample of simple data to illustrate how formatting can enhance its appearance. Currently, the font style I use is Arial with a font size of 12. However, you may change the font style to a type that suits your preference in this small window. Similarly, you can adjust the font size in this box. If you desire to maintain uniformity in the font style and size across all new workbooks, you can set it under the File tab, selecting Options, then General, and finally, under the When Creating New Workbook section. Adjust the font style and size as desired. Let's modify the appearance of this data range. Firstly, we'll make the data title bold, italicized, and underlined. Next, we'll make all column headings bold, as well as the total section too. We'll also give color to the column titles. Let's choose this color. And total column. We choose this color. And for the total section, we choose this color. To make it look more organized, we'll place the column title in the middle of the cell using these commands. The middle align will help make the text centrally aligned in a row, while center will make it in the middle of the column. We'll apply the same for salesman name and join since columns. Now the data range looks neater. Additionally, we'll place the data title in the middle of the data range. There are 2 ways to set it. First, by using the Merge and Center button. Or we can set it through Formatting Cells box. Click this arrow, then select Alignment. Under Horizontal, click the drop-down list, then select Center across selection. Well, now the data range looks better. Lastly, I want to demonstrate the Format Painter, which is useful for quickly copying the format of a cell or data range and applying it to other cell or data range without changing the data contents. This is other data range with different contents. We'll select the above range, click on Format Painter, and then apply it to this range. So, the format changed without changing the contents. Okay, that's all about basics of formatting. We'll continue now to discuss table. Now we learn the basics of table through these 5 things. If you find data that is improperly formatted on your sheet, it may be necessary to adjust the row height and column width. To do this, place the cursor at the right end of the column until it forms a plus sign. Then, while holding the cursor, drag it to the right until the column width is appropriate. Similarly, to adjust a row's height, place the cursor at the bottom end of the row, hold the cursor, and drag it downwards to adjust the height accordingly. It's also possible to adjust the column width or row height by placing the cursor on the right side of the column and double-clicking. This technique can be applied to each column or row individually, or it can be executed simultaneously by clicking the intersection point where the column and row meet. And after that, select one of the columns and double-click. The same process applies to adjusting row height. Now, we set borderline for this data range. First, select the range. Then proceed to the Formatting Cells box and click on Borders. Here, you can choose the line type and color you prefer. On the right side of the box, you can select the border format either by using a preset border or by configuring it field by field. In this example, we use this line type and select the outline option. For the border inside the range, we choose this line type and select the inside option. Finally, click OK, and the data range has been changed with the set border format. In case you need to add more data, you can insert new rows or columns. Choose the row or column to be inserted. Click Insert button, and then select Insert Sheet Rows for the new row. To insert columns, click Insert button, and then select Insert Sheet Columns. Conversely, to remove rows, select Delete, and then select Delete Sheet Rows. And to remove columns, select Delete button and select Delete Sheet Columns. When working with extensive data that surpasses one screen, it's vital to freeze column title rows, data names, and the first order columns. This ensures convenience and ease of use. To freeze the selected cells, select View tab and select Freeze pane. This feature will lock the column titles and data names in place, allowing for scrolling or sliding of the screen while retaining the frozen items on the screen. Another way to do data range formatting is to convert the range to a name table. To do this, select the data range outside of the table name and choose Format as Table. Click to select the preferred table shape. In the dialog box that appears, click OK. The data range has been converted to a named table. Name table plays a critical role in Power Pivot and Power Query features that we will explore in future videos. With that, we conclude our discussion of table basics, and let's move on to the validation technique chapter. Excellent! We are moving to the second chapter, validation. Filtering, sorting, and finding are basic features that are useful for data validation. With this in mind, let's delve into exploring these 4 features in this subchapter. To filter data, start by selecting a cell and click on Sort and Filter button. Next, select Filter. To filter a specific column, click the arrow located in the column header. In the dialog box, you can select Filter by color to filter based on cell color. You can use text filters. Or you can filter specific data from the list in this box. For example, you can filter data for salesmen A and B. To remove a filter selection, click the arrow once again and select Clear Filter from. To deactivate filter, click Sort and Filter button once again and select Filter. Now we explore Sort feature. To sort the data, first select the column containing the data to sort. Click on Sort and Filter button, which provides 3 sort options: Sort Smallest to Largest, Sort Largest to Smallest, and Custom Sort. Let's choose Custom Sort. Here you can specify the column to sort, the object to sort, and the sort order. Click OK to complete the process. Alternatively, sorting can be done via Filter dialog box, which provides 3 sort options. OK, we move to Find and Replace. To search for data, you can use Filter dialog box and type the data to search for in this box. However, the search is limited to data within a column. To search for data across the entire dataset, select Find and Select button and choose Find. Enter the data to search for in Find What box, say Salesman B, and press Enter or click Find Next. This will direct cursor to the cell containing Salesman B. And to replace the data, select the Replace tab, enter the data to replace in Find What box, for instance Salesman BBB, and type new data in Replace with box, for instance Salesman B. And then click Replace All button or Replace button. Then click Close button. Okay, next, we will discuss useful formulas for data validation. In this second part of Top Formula chapter, we will explore additional 6 formulas that are useful in the basics of data validation. Let's begin. Len is used to count the character length of a text, including spaces. In text, select the cell containing text whose character length you want to count. Click OK. And the result is like this. Trim is used to remove unnecessary spaces in a text. In text, select the cell containing text whose unnecessary spaces you want to remove. Click OK. And the result is like this. Upper is used to convert the text to capital letters. In text, select the cell containing text you want to convert. Click OK. And the result is like this. Lower is used to convert the text to lowercase. In text, select the cell containing text you want to convert. Click OK. And the result is like this. Proper is used to convert text to proper case where the first letter is capitalized and the remaining letters are in lowercase. In text, select the cell containing text you want to convert. Click OK. And the result is like this. Replace is used to replace part of text with different text. In old text, select the cell containing text you want to change. In start number, type position of first character you want to replace. In number chars, type number of characters you want to replace. And in new text, type the text that will replace old characters. Click OK. OK, we will move on to Go to Special. Go to Special enables Cursor to locate specific cells based on user-defined criteria. To use this feature, select Data Range first, and then click on the Find and Select button, followed by Go to Special. This provides criteria options such as notes, constants, formulas, and more. However, the most commonly used criteria is blanks, which identifies empty cells that require correction. Let's select blanks and click OK. As can be seen, Cursor highlights all blank cells, making it easier to correct them by populating them with the appropriate data or deleting them altogether. Okay, let's shift our focus to the issue of mistake and error in next chapter. We will learn 5 common errors that often occur when working with Excel and how to handle them. Let's begin. #div error occurs when dividing a number by 0 or an empty cell. To correct this, adjust the 0 number or the contents of the cell. And to prevent this issue from reoccurring, consider adding an if error formula into the existing one. Press F2 to edit formula. Type if error at the start of formula. Type opening bracket. And after the existing formula, add semicolon or comma as delimiter. Type the value you want to display in case of an error. If you want to leave the cell blank, type 2 quotes with nothing in between. Close the formula with a closing bracket and press Enter. By adding if error, dividing any number by 0 results in a blank output instead of a #div error. #value error occurs when applying a formula in an unsuitable format, such as dividing cell containing number by cell containing text format. To resolve this error, correct the cell that contains text. #NA error occurs when searching for data using a mistyped keyword. For instance, the keyword product B has double spaces between the words product and the letter B. To improve the formula, correct the keyword writing. #name error occurs when the function name is inaccurately spelled. In this formula, for instance, the VLOOKUP function is spelled with a single letter O. Correct the typo to resolve the error. #ref error occurs when the formula tries to search for data in a column where it doesn't exist. In this instance, the formula indicates a column index number of 3, whereas, due to the range of data used, A4 to B6, there are only 2 columns. To resolve this issue, the column index number should be corrected. Okay, all errors already corrected, we can move now on to the next chapter to learn about data analysis basics. Excellent. We are moving to the 3rd chapter, Analysis. Conditional formatting is an effective feature for highlighting significant data points within a range. This tutorial will provide basic insights into conditional formatting through 4 illustrative examples that will equip you to begin your data analysis journey. In the given data range example, we intend to highlight specific numbers within 4 columns using conditional formatting. Firstly, we aim to highlight sales values exceeding 7,500 in column B. To do this, click on the Conditional Formatting button and then select Highlight Cells Rules. Choose the greater than option from the list. In the greater than box, input 7,500 as the rule criteria. From the drop-down list on the right, select the desired cell format to be displayed if the rule criteria is met. Various formatting options are available, including the custom format. Let's use this option. Format Cells box opens, allowing us to customize the formatting to our preferences. In this case, we can select a bold italic font format in white. And for the cell, we choose red. Click OK twice to apply, and the results will be as shown in column B. And in column C, we will highlight sales values that fall below 5,000. Click on the Conditional Formatting button and then select Highlight Cells Rules. Choose the Less Than option. In the Less Than box, input 5,000 as the rule criteria. And then we choose Default option for cell format. Click OK. The results as can be seen in column C. In column D, we will highlight the top 7 sales values. Click on the Conditional Formatting button and then select Top-Bottom Rules. Choose Top 10 items. In the Rank box, input 7 as the rule criteria. And then we choose Default option for cell format. Click OK. The results as can be seen in column D. And finally, in column E, we will highlight the sales values that are above average sales value. Click on the Conditional Formatting button and then select Top-Bottom Rules. Choose Above Average. We only need to choose Cell Format, and we choose Default option. Click OK. The results as can be seen in column E. That concludes our discussion on the basics of conditional formatting. Next, we will dive into part 3 of the Top Formula. In this third part of Top Formula chapter, we will explore 2 formulas that are useful in the basics of data analysis. Let's begin. If is used to assign values to data from a cell based on specific conditions. If the data in the cell meets the condition, a certain value is given, and if not, a different value is given. For instance, if sales number in column B exceed 3,500, then 15% bonus is given in column C. Otherwise, if sales are below 3,500, then 5% bonus is given. To do this, in logical test, type cell B5 greater than 3,500 as the conditions for receiving 15% bonus. Next, in value if true, type 15% as bonus if sales number in column B exceed 3,500. And in value if false, type 5% for sales under 3,500. Press Enter or OK button. Copy the formula into the cells below. The result is that only salesman B receives a 15% bonus since his sales exceed 3,500. Index and match is a commonly used alternative to VLOOKUP because VLOOKUP is incapable of searching for data to the left of keyword. Index function is used to locate data in search column that matches the provided keyword, whereas the match function is used to determine the column in which the keyword is present. This keyword column can be to the left or right of the search column. For instance, suppose we intend to identify the category of product B in this range. In this case, product B will be the keyword. The function should be directly entered into the cell rather than the function arguments box. We begin by typing $, type index, then opening bracket for index function. Select the search column where product category B is located. Semicolon. Type match. Opening bracket for match function. Select keyword. Semicolon. Select the keyword column. Semicolon. Select 0 for match type. Closing bracket for match function. Closing bracket for index function. Press Enter. The result is like this. Okay, with that done, let's proceed to the chapter on chart basics. Charts are a powerful tool for visualizing the results of data analysis in a form that is easy to understand. This tutorial offers basic insight on charts through bar chart and pie chart models based on this simple data example. Let's get started. In the first example, we aim to generate a bar chart that visualizes the monthly product sales. Select Data Range first. Then click Insert tab. Then select Bar Chart from the Chart command group. In the Chart Form options, select this one. Click. Then the chart has been created. We can adjust the size of the format by using cursor to drag its edges. The chart comprises several components, such as chart title, value axis, series, in this example product, category axis, in this example months, and legend series. Formatting options for each component can be customized, such as making the chart title bold or changing the color of a specific bar, such as product C to yellow. The chart title can be modified accordingly, such as changing it to monthly sales by product. Additionally, sales figures can be added to each bar. Hover the cursor over the plot area until the cursor forms a plus sign. Click. Select the Chart Design tab. Select Add Chart Element. And choose Data Labels. Swipe right to choose a label position that suits our preference. OK. In the second example, we will create a pie chart to visualize sales contribution by product. Select Data Range first. Then click Insert tab. Then select Pie Chart from the Chart command group. In the Chart Form options, select this one. Click. Then the chart has been generated. Let's add the percentage contribution. Hover the cursor over the plot area until the cursor forms a plus sign. Click. Select the Chart Design tab. Select Add Chart Element. And choose Data Labels. Choose Label Position. And change font size bigger. Make it bold. Okay, that concludes the basics of creating chart. We will be learning about pivot tables in the next chapter. Pivot table is a powerful tool for efficient data analysis and reporting. It enables the addition and detailing value numbers with accuracy and speed. To illustrate the significance of pivot table, let's take this example dataset. If you're tasked with finding the sales total for category A in 2022, along with the product details, traditional methods would require creating formulas and filters, which can be time-consuming. Furthermore, obtaining similar details for other categories would require additional effort. However, by using a pivot table, these tasks can be done with ease and efficiency. To start a pivot table, select the data range, followed by clicking on Insert Table. Click on Pivot Table, and in the dialog window, select New Worksheet and then press Enter. This creates a pivot table in New Sheet with an editor located on the right for assembling pivot tables. In the second box, you'll find the column titles of data range you selected earlier. Below them are 4 boxes for configuring the data's appearance. The goal is to select the data from the second box and assemble it into these 4 boxes. For instance, we add the year to a column to facilitate yearly comparisons, while sales number added in value. Category and product can be added to the row, while salesman and city can be added to the filter. Upon completion, the pivot table will be visible on the left side. Close the editor and commence using the pivot table. As per our arrangement, the year data has been placed in the column, with category and product on the row. Salesman and city have been set as filters. Let's make some changes to the format. Change column title wording. And change the number format to comma style. Next, click on Pivot Table Analysis tab, then select Options. Choose Display. Check the classic pivot table layout to enable field dragging. Enter. With this pivot table, we can easily obtain the total category sales per year, including the product breakdown. We can also determine the total sales per salesman or city, with a breakdown by category and product. To do this, simply click on the Salesman filter, select a specific salesman such as Salesman A. And we can revert back selecting all salesmen quickly. To display sales by salesman by category and product, select the Salesman button on the filter field and drag it down into the data field. Now, sales by salesman are available. If you want to display other data, select a cell in the pivot table, right-click, and choose Show Field List. Now, you can add country to the filter. You may choose to display or hide subtotals by right-clicking on the data. And and click Subtotal Category. Okay, that concludes the first part of the lesson on pivot tables. In part 2 of the pivot table chapter, we will learn about slicer and pivot table charts that are useful to generate reports. Excellent. We are now moving to the fourth chapter, which is the report. In this part, we will delve into slicer and pivot charts. Slicers are powerful filter tools that enable effective data analysis. To access the slicer, click on Pivot Table Analysis tab and click on Insert Slicer. You may decide to select only the relevant fields required or to select all fields. For instance, in this example, we select Salesman and Category fields. Then click OK. Let's first set the slicer's location. And adjust the box size. With a slicer, data filtering becomes a breeze. A single click on the slicer instantly displays the relevant data in the pivot table. To enable multi-field filters, click the Multi-Select button. Now we can do filtering for Salesman A and B only, and filter for categories A and C only. Okay, let's move on to Pivot Chart. Pivot Charts is a chart that is generated based on data set in a pivot table. With this kind of chart, making changes to chart data and filtering displayed data in the chart become easier. To do this, select one of the cells in the pivot table. Then click on Pivot Table Analysis tab. Select Pivot Chart. Then select the type, such as Clustered Column. Then enter. The chart appears with the data arranged as in the pivot table. Modifications to the pivot table, such as returning a salesman to the filter field, will reflect in the chart as well. We can also do filter data directly on the chart. For instance, click City and select Jakarta. Then the chart changed. We can also move this chart to another sheet by copying and pasting. Okay, that's all about pivot tables. We will move on to creating report with simple template. Before delving into report creation, let's first explore the fourth part of the top formula chapter, which comprises 2 formulas that can prove useful in generating reports. Let's begin. XLOOKUP is used to search for data in multiple columns by just typing a formula once. For example, we aim to obtain category and sales of product B in this range, and the results will be returned in cells F4 and G4. We can do it by creating the formula only in cell F4. In lookup value, select keyword. In the lookup array, select the column containing the keyword. In return array, select the category column and sales column. Leave if not found and match mode blank. Then type enter. The result is like this. SUMIF is used to add up the values in a specified data range column for the given keyword. In the range, select the column where the keyword is located. In criteria, select keyword. In the sum range, select the column where the values for the keywords you want to sum are located. Press OK button. The result is like this. Okay, with this result, we can move on to the next chapter to learn how to create a simple report template. Static report templates are frequently used in offices or other institutions. This is an example of simple template for sales summary report that generated based on the source data in SheetList. We will redo this report by completing the parts that have not been completed yet, such as formatting and numbers. Let's begin. Our first task is to modify the report title's appearance. Select the title area and click Merge and Center. Then, we will add borders to the product summary section. Select all areas. Then click little arrow. Click border. Select the line style. Then move down to choose border color. Select outline. And then select inside. Enter. Next, we will narrow the width of column B and column L. Click on both columns. Then place the cursor at the end of either column. Swipe left while holding the cursor until desired width is achieved. Okay. Next, fill in cells H10 to H14 with categories based on products on the left. We will use VLOOKUP formula to retrieve data from the list sheet. Select cell H10. Select Insert Functions. Select VLOOKUP. Click OK button. In lookup value, filled in with keyword, in this case product A in cell G10. In table array, filled in with range in sheet list that contains keyword and category data. Go to sheet list. Select cell B3 and C3. Block until row 93. Lock with F4. Then in call index number, filled in with 2. And in range lookup, type 0 or false. Enter. Copy the cell. And paste to cells below. OK. Next, fill in cells I10 to I14 with total sales numbers of products on the left. We will use SUMIF formula to retrieve data from the list sheet. Select cell I10. Click Insert Function. Select SUMIF. Click OK button. In range, filled in with range in sheet list that contains product. Go to sheet list. Select cell B3. Block until B93. Lock with F4. In criteria, filled in with keyword, in this case product A in cell G10. In sum range, filled in with range in sheet list that contains sales number. Go to sheet list. Select cell H3. Block until H93. Lock with F4. Enter. And then copy. Paste to cells below. OK. Next, select cell I15 and filled in with sum of sales numbers. Click Sum Function button. Enter. Check if the number is already correct or not. OK. The number is correct. Finally, fill in the country and zone columns using the XLOOKUP formula. Select cell H20. Type $. Type XLOOKUP. Opening bracket. Select cell G20 as the keyword. Semicolon. Go to sheet list. Select the column containing city at cell E3. Block until row 93. Lock with F4. Semicolon. Go to columns that contain country and zone. Select F3 and G3. Block until row 93. Lock with F4. And then closing brackets. Enter. Return to cell H20. Copy and paste into the cells below. OK, we have successfully completed our report. Let's learn how to print this report in the next chapter. Let's conclude our tutorial by covering how to print, protect data, and save a workbook. To print this report template, we begin with setting print area to exclude any unprintable columns. Select Template Range. Then click the Page Layout tab. Press Print Area. Two options available: to set a new print area and to cancel the previously set print area. Click Set Print Area. After that, go to the File tab. Select Print. This is setting Printing and Pages window. Set the number of times the page will be printed. Then in the Settings area, you can set which sheets will be printed. And set printing output, whether printing sequentially or one by one. In Orientation Settings, let's choose Landscape as the template is in landscape shape. We can choose paper type here. Then there are Margin Settings. If you select Custom Margins, then the Page Setup window will open. Then Scale Settings. And below there is a link to Page Setup. Click. On the Page tab, we can set the orientation, scale, and paper type. On the Margin tab, we can set margin size and position for the report on the paper. We select Center horizontally and vertically. We can add header and footer notes on the Header/Footer tab. On the Sheet tab, we can set the print area and print title. And select preferences like grid lines or black and white output. Once we have configured all the settings, we can click OK. In the bottom right corner, there is a button for zooming. Next to it, we can display the margin guidelines. This margin guideline can be adjusted with the cursor. OK. Then there is the printer setup. Click. You can add a new printer device by clicking Add Printer. If no printer available, the output will be saved as a PDF file by default. In this case, if we click Print, a window to save print output appears. Select a storage folder. Type the file name, then press OK. We will see the storage folder later. Now we continue printing the sheet list. For the sheet list, we go directly to Page Setup by clicking the Page Layout tab, then clicking Print Titles. Page Setup window opens. On Sheet tab, set print area by blocking cells A3 to H93. On Page tab, select Portrait Orientation. For scaling, select Fit to 1 page wide to ensure all columns visible on each page. Then select By Too Tall to print it on 2 pages. Then on Margins tab, select Center horizontally and vertically. Next, on Footer Header tab, for the header we select page 1 of. For the footer, select file name. You may also customize header and footer notes by clicking on these 2 buttons. Once done, click on the Print Preview button. Verify that all columns are visible on 1 page and that there are 2 pages to be printed. But there is a problem where column titles are not visible on the 2nd page. To resolve, return to the sheet, press Print Titles again. In Rows to Repeat at top, fill in the range of column titles by selecting the column title row. Then, click Print Preview again. Okay, the sheet list is ready to be printed. Next, to prevent unintentional deletion or modification, we need to protect all cells within the data range, except those edited frequently. To do this, select the intersection of cells and columns. Then click Formatting Cells. Select the Protection tab. Ensure the locked checkbox is ticked. Additionally, if you tick Hidden checkbox, then cell contents will not be visible in the formula bar. On the other hand, if it is unticked, the contents of the cell will be visible in the formula bar. In this case, we tick Hidden. Then, click the OK button. Now select a cell or a range that is not protected, for example this range. Then go back to Formatting Cells, select Protection and unchecked Locked and Hidden. Then press OK button. Afterward, select this range. Then select Formatting Cells, Protection and untick Hidden. And press OK button. Next up is going to Review tab and select Protect Sheet. Type a password. Press OK. Confirm the password, then press OK. To test the protection, select a cell within the protected range and attempt to delete its contents. A warning message will appear, indicating that the cell is protected and cannot be deleted. Additionally, the contents of the cell are not visible in the formula bar as it was set hidden. Then move to the cell. The contents are visible in the formula bar, although it cannot be deleted. Then select the cell that are not protected. Okay, we can delete its content. To save your data, simply click on Save button, or alternatively, activate the autosave function. It's also possible to save the workbook to another destination or under a different name or file format. To do this, click File tab. Select Saved As. Then in the Excel window, select the Storage folder. In the Save As window, type new name for the file. After that, press Save to continue or press Cancel button. If you prefer to save the file in PDF or another format, click Save As Type, then select PDF. Uncheck Open File after publishing. Press Save button. The PDF file is now saved in the designated folder. To view the folder in the File Explorer, let's first close this workbook. On the screen, we can see that we have saved 3 files: the original file, PDF printed version, and PDF save as version. If required, we can modify these file names by right-clicking the file, selecting Rename, and typing in the new name. Now, let's open one of the PDF files. Okay, the report looks good in the PDF format, indicating we have succeeded. Excellent, we have successfully completed the tutorial. If you found it helpful in improving your Excel skill, kindly subscribe, like, and comment. We encourage you as well to watch our other videos. Thank you and have a productive day.